Guys, get ready because in this video I'm gonna show you a factory, a garage, a collection, and also a proving ground here in Colorado with Jay Couch. Hey Jay.
Hey.
So what is this place?
This is the Couch Pound. So this is our compound.
Okay.
Since it's couch, it's the Couch Pound.
Okay.
This is where we show you a real man.
This is a real man. Okay.
How this stuff works, but this is where we build our machines and test our machines and play with our machines and live with our machines.
So if you guys love big trucks, this is the place to be.
Big, and if you like small ones too, but big iron.
Okay.
This is the mecca.
All right, can you give me a walk around?
Yeah. We'll roll into.
And we'll unveil what? A couple dozen things, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of iron in here for sure. So on this side through here, this is the mechanics bay. That's why the floor is nice and clean. So we do work on some specialty vehicles as well, like that little Land Rover and whatnot. Doing some custom stuff that nobody else could quite figure out. So that's cool. It's a neat vehicle. But then we go back to kind of our mainstay, which is the German iron, of course.
Okay, big stuff.
Big stuff, yep.
Unimogs.
The Unimog. So this guy is, this is a bug out vehicle, straight up survival vehicle, like the real deal. It's only 150 horse, run flat wheels, a bumper that will go through a Mack truck or a concrete building. A little older engine you could buy parts for it all over the world easily. So that's the real deal there. And then this is one of our expedition trucks. So this will have the, we got twin hydraulic winches, 18,000 and 18,000 set up. We can run them together independently, however the heck you want to do all that stuff. Starting to do the tree cage, you can see. It's just for protection. It'll get bigger rubber. Actually, we go to these are my favorite wheels nowadays. So these are a big Hutchinson double beadlock.
Holy cow.
These are billet aluminum. They're actually not even that heavy, like 55 pounds a pop, but they're stronger than the steel wheels that weigh double the weight.
Okay.
So those will be on this truck here. And this gets a big living quarters on the back, about a 13-foot box.
So let's start right here really quick. So you build these bumpers and other components, right?
That's right. So bumpers are the funnest thing to build. They're also the funnest to use. So besides horsepower, this is a modular bull bar. So these sections come off. This section could come off. This is designed for obviously high clearance, approach angle and whatnot. But one of the things that people got to realize when you're traveling around the world, you're coming around a blind corner of the mountains. You never know what donkey cart or school bus is coming at you. So with something like this, it gives you a little bit of heads-up protection. And if you take the wrong turn, you have to push through some trees and limbs and whatnot. This does it because this corner lines up with your tree cage, and you can push everything right over the top. Simple, but it's a very engineered bull bar. I mean, you'll see this center section here. This is actually just part of it in the middle of assembly through here. So there's a lot of pieces to make all this work. We try to make it as light as possible, believe it or not. And light as possible is about 530 pounds. The Mog doesn't really notice it. So.
But Unimog don't care.
Unimog don't care.
Okay.
It's the honey badger of trucks.
Okay.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Today's video is made possible by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of unique classes for ambitious and creative people. You can learn new skills, explore your passions, and there are tons of different subjects. There's everything from business classes to art, photography, and design. For example, if you want to learn how to make YouTube videos like ours, check out YouTube Success with Marquez Brownlee. There you can learn the filming process from the camera to the screen and everything in between. The first 1,000 people to use the link in the description will get a free trial of Skillshare's premium membership. And after that, it's only around $10 a month.
Show you the inside if you want. Very basic, but in-dash air conditioning, no electronics other than LED stuff, and maybe a gauge that'll be electronic. But this is a good, comfortable, solid rig, good horsepower, central tire inflation, survivability, second to none. It's a neat rig.
So these are basically kind of like surplus vehicles, right?
This was a surplus Bundeswehr, which is the German military truck. And this one in particular is an old one. This is 79. We actually chose this one specifically because 78, 79, and 1980 were kind of the most robust they've ever built. I mean, that's arguable, but in my experience, this has been it. So a complete rebuild, over the top. It's not cheap anymore, but it's got a lot of upgrades, but they're all very basic upgrades for this particular one. And then this whole body assembly can come off. It goes on these little pockets here. And a whole expedition truck could go on there if needed. So we're building a match to this that'll be the same thing, but it'll be a van body.
All right, so this is...
This big guy, this guy's got these are the small tires, believe it or not. Those are 42s.
Okay.
We just leave them on because we're building it up and it's easier to get in and out of. There's a living structure that goes across the back that mounts onto this, locks into these components. I have to take a Sawzall to the back of this cab, which I'm trying to...
Ooh.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I'm like, I think I'm going to leave that day when we cut the hole in it.
Yeah.
So we got to cut the hole through the whole thing, make a pass through, and then the box will go on here, and then it gets custom storage all the way. Actually, this is neat. Check this out. So here's some people got cooktops. This is a whole nother level. It is a cooktop, but
it's a field kitchen.
It's your field kitchen.
Wow.
Yes, this is for
cool.
This is for warming up your MREs. Or doing some other nice stuff as well. Yeah, it's no joke. It's a nice setup through here. And then we'll have a door on this side, a big awning that comes out, and there's all your spices. You know, it's actually true running sink with hot and cold water, and then a convection top through there.
And there's going to be a big kind of a camper body over here.
Big camper body on the top, and that'll be fully insulated for year-round living. It's good down to, it'll handle 50 below. It's not going to like it, but it'll easily handle without even sweating anything, 30 below 0 Fahrenheit. And then about 120 above Fahrenheit, drive's going to be pretty warm in it, but the AC should handle it pretty well. And most people aren't trying to vacation in that kind of weather anyway, but if you need to survive it, you certainly can. And then it's got some huge recovery winches set up in the rear, twin winches in the front, central tire inflation. When this guy's done, you're not going to recognize it. It's pretty neat. But the neat thing too is this box can be lifted off. So if you need to transport it into a container, you could slide the box into the container and the truck behind it. So you deflate the tires with the central tire inflation. You could just deflate that, lock it down, and then when you get to Africa, whatever, pull them both out of the box, crane it on, lock it, off you go.
Yeah, and there's like little pucks here sometimes, different mounting.
Yep, there's mounting through here, here, here. It's a torsion-free subframe. That's the reason this bed looks very odd is because it only mounts on 4 points, 2 and then 3, and that allows the chassis to twist and flex without transmitting any torsional force to our structure on the box. Just like all Unimogs are pretty much designed around that same principle. Okay. If you do it right. So, yeah, it's cool.
All right, let's keep moving.
So now back into the dirty end of the shop. This is where the real work, this is the other real work. This is the steel fab stuff. See a couple of the tree cages getting formed up right now, just tacked. Old school, actually, you'll get a kick out of this. Our old drill press, this is from 1918. This is our favorite tool in the shop. You can see where the spring was. It started wearing through the handle. It's been used so many times in the factory prior.
I see.
So it was a belt drive. Isn't that cool? And then we have our CNC stuff, but that's still our favorite. And then you go over to, well, there's more back here. These are both also Expedition trucks. This one, the box is not on it yet either. This is just the same style as that, but smaller. Even though it's big, it's still smaller.
You mean shorter?
Shorter. That's the appropriate word.
Okay.
So same size tire, same central tire inflation, aluminum boxes, storage boxes through here. Same story. I've been dreading taking a hole saw to the back of the cab on that one.
And here you can kind of see the puck system or part of that.
Yes, exactly. So that comes in, you lower on, you rotate, and then you lock, and then we have a secondary lock that keeps that from being messed with as well.
And you have an extension here.
Yep, so the frame extension allows for obviously the hitch and houses another 28,000 pound hydraulic winch there. And he has a motorcycle rack that carries on even further. So we had to do that extension so his hitch wouldn't be hanging out too far. But it's pretty slick. This has also got one of the nicer bull bars on it. So it's cool with the CTIs because we deflate the front end so we get into the hood easier. But that's the finished out bull bar again. And another 28,000 pound hydraulic winch in the nose. We do pocket headlight setup, so if you ever want to upgrade, who knows what's going to be in the future? Lasers? I don't know. So this whole thing could be replaced with something modern. Skid plate we've got off because we're servicing stuff underneath there, and it's just nice. Trust me, when you're going somewhere you're not familiar with, having this guy in front of you really makes you feel more confident. You could just go through and push things. I've been lost in the mountains where it was a dead end trail. I've had to push through some things and get around, and this is a total lifesaver on that end. So pretty cool. This is just another version of kind of the same thing, just down. That's not downsized, actually. We did a little different with the aesthetics. We'll probably do a piece of acrylic and then backlight that in LED, the Unimog logo. And then this is twin 18,000-pound winches, again, controlled individually. This one gets AC. It's already 320 horse. Little baby pull points. They're only about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches across. Those are plug welded and through welded, and then sandwich the frame on both sides.
So this is a straight engines mostly?
Yep, this is a straight 6, 5.9 liter inline straight 6. All the Mogs we deal with are going to be an inline cylinder. Generally the 6, if it's a 4-cylinder, be this motor minus 2 cylinders. So just like a 6BT Cummins in a Dodge, and the 4BT in a delivery van, kind of the same thing Mercedes did.
Okay.
So kind of a neat one. And then again, it'll get bigger rubber on it soon. We're doing some sound deadening on the inside, and we're doing some wiring, and we're changing a bunch of things. Because remember, this truck is 20, 25 years old. So we've got to rebuild the whole thing from, not scratch, but we got to, even if it doesn't need to be rebuilt, we got to proactively go after any possible flaws. Because if these guys are in Namibia and a slave cylinder fails or a wheel cylinder fails, they're going to be mad. But the nice thing is, it is still very rebuildable everywhere in the world. So, nice. Twin tanks again. By the way, we always do twin tanks on our expedition vehicles because one big tank with one big hole is one big problem.
At least redundancy, right?
Redundancy. Same thing if you get a bad load of fuel. 34 gallons per side. This truck at 65 miles an hour with the box will get around anywhere from almost 9 to maybe 10.5 miles per gallon. So you've got roughly 300 plus miles minimum to go. You're going to go to the bathroom or get a fuel stop. So use one tank, you switch to the next, because if you get a bad load of fuel, again, big problem. So twin tanks are definitely better. And we could go bigger as well. And some people give me crap for putting fuel on just one side. Like I said, Honey Badger, Mod don't care. It really doesn't notice. And this is what you will notice. When you're at peak tour season, going to the north rim of the Grand Canyon to get some food, the gas station has a line going around it, and you've got a fuel tank on both sides, and you fill the one, everyone's pissed off because you got a big truck, and then you got to have somebody hold that spot, drive around and turn it and get the other side. So we always stick them on the same side if we can. So, and then this gets a whole separate bed assembly that will incorporate. That is just a skeleton subframe. This is a full bed setup that the new box will go in and lock into this. So it'll have bed sides, the covered wagon. So this guy's going to be able to utilize it as his Home Depot delivery truck, his off-road, or his Jeep hauler, or whatever it is, because he's got a little Rubicon he'd like to put in the back of it, and then get to where they're going to camp and hang out, unload it, go play with that, and run stuff, and and you can put the house on the back.
And here you can see the CTR, yes? Is that right?
Yep, so this is an older system of the central tire inflation. That's actually a protection valve. This will all get redone into something a little more modern. We'll get brand new protection valves in there. That's for in case I cut a line somewhere, it doesn't rapidly deflate. It keeps that pressure up. But it'll have the billet aluminum wheel, the bigger tire, and we could stay with these smaller tires. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with it, but when the trucks get this heavy, that 46-inch tire gives us a little better flotation. So when you're in Baja, when you sink down 2 feet and you're not in the diff, you're feeling pretty good.
Right. So,
just a big 9-man monster crew cab. I'll just give you the quickie on this.
So this is like the mega
This
cab.
is the mega, the Unibourbon almost. So the Unibourbon is 3-row seating. The problem when they built this machine, though, they didn't do anything to give you any sort of strength on the inside. So it's all clad now with 10-gauge steel, stainless steel riveted into the monocog structure, with a rectangular tubular structure also built and welded into the same monocog setup. And then the upper tubes will carry the air for the secondary AC system. It has AC in the front. And this is just to keep if he rolls off the mountains where he doesn't kill his family, because that would be just a bad, it's bad enough rolling, but killing everybody else is not cool for the reputation.
And this is basically 3-row, 9-person possible.
3-row, 3-row 9-man crew cab. Not common, but very cool. And then once it's done, we'll take care of all the body work and whatnot. That's the last thing on the list. And then there's just more. They keep popping, man. We could roll out through and go to the garage.
Well, we've seen this truck before.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. It's big, it's powerful, it's fast, it's easy to drive. It just works. You guys, actually, this is the same truck as the brownish colored one and the other gray one. This is the exact same truck, but this is a crew cab with the taller roof. So they're identical. So those trucks that we're looking at in there with the Expedition bodies will be on this exact platform, but all storage all the way through. So pretty unique. In fact, this one is we're building an Expedition box for it as well. Sides come off, box goes in the back. I'm just not going to sawzall a hole through this one. That's where I'm going to draw the line.
All right. Can we see the garage area?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We'll roll through if we don't get blown away, since we are awfully close to Kansas.
Really quick, what is going on here?
What
the heck?
Yeah, people are going to give me crap for this, but so this is getting built into an Expedition truck as well.
Yeah.
We have to get all the grease and all the everything out from underneath this. This is an 11,000 pound telehandler, you guys, with 23,000 pounds of straps. We're only picking up about maybe 6,000 pounds of rear, so trust me, we're redundant.
Okay.
And this is man lift rated, so please keep the comments down. But we lift it up, we steam clean it for 12 hours on both sides, then we have to lift it up so we get underneath it, and then also we get on top of the engine bay and back and forth. Because once this is done, and if I see any rust, we'll mitigate this, but then we'll go through and we reshoot the whole chassis to make sure it's nice and pretty and no rust gets through. It's like a nice M&M candy shell against corrosion. Cool. So, but yeah, this will be a really big camper box, because this is actually a bigger than normal Mog. But yeah, that's pretty.
I just want to take the whole view. Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah, try to take it in. I'll put my hand against it so I'm not actually standing under it.
Okay, there you go.
Got it, though. Man, that's just how it is.
There you go.
That's pretty wild.
All right, so it's just getting washed. All right, so
it's getting washed. It's going in for a bath for a rebuild. So
okay.
So that we'll run through. Yeah, we'll go through this way. There's just so much iron here. It's like, where do you start? I don't even think you noticed this one. This is a full van body we built years ago.
This bomb squad thing?
Yeah. This is the true Scooby Mobile. This is the original Unibourbon. I'm sorry, it's the second. We even did suicide doors on it. So it needs to be redone. It's, filthy and dirty. It hasn't been driven in years, and the owner just kind of forgot about it almost, man, which is sad because it's an amazing machine. So
yeah, it is.
Maybe he'll sell it. We'll find a worthy owner and we'll redo it and make it fast. But it's pretty cool. So you can flip that open on both sides and put your machine gun pintle mount.
Okay.
So let's see. We got more.
So he's got various things. Stuart Stevenson here.
Yeah. We got a handful of the Stuart Stevensons. These are A1 series, so that's the electronic controlled motor. Some people don't like it. We do, which is crazy because I'm very anti-electronic. But it's a much more upgradable platform than the previous.
All right, so this is your garage?
This is the garage.
I need to get a garage like this.
This is the garage.
Okay.
So it's a Quonset hut is what it is. It'll get insulated here soon. They'll pull down the echo. So eventually this is going to be stored in the vehicles. We can extend this machine, this longer.
Yeah.
But this is actually one of the cool things. That's our race truck. We did a movie called This Is Breslau, and that is a mean Mog.
So it's got a similar bumper,
yeah,
or a different version of it, I guess.
Yeah. So we built this a decade ago in 3 months. This went on an airplane and got flown to Germany and then drove to Poland for the race.
Holy.
Yeah,
okay.
That was an expensive air freight bill, trust me. We're just behind, we had no choice. So this was kind of a test platform for a lot of what we've done over the last decade. So we did a 500 horse Cummins in this guy, up to the factory Mog stuff, which is not rated for anywhere near that, but we've added a few goodies to help it along the way, and it's bulletproof. This truck literally jumped 85 feet at 53 miles an hour in that race by accident. Didn't mean to. It folded the front axle, but it still worked. Lockers worked, still steered, everything about it. I mean,
can you show me the suspension on this?
Yeah. So we're just doing a set of 3.5 King Kongs, quadruple bypass. Nothing crazy. We actually stick with the original coil suspension setup on the guy.
Nothing crazy?
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
Okay.
Lots of coolers. It's got 3 radiators, intercooler, like intercooler the size of a Mack truck or bigger. Methanol injection system. We have 20 gallons of that. And this thing is legitimately designed for deep water fording, sustainable up to about here. So I don't know how the tires are air down. So it's pushing 8 foot. It's at least 7.5 foot of sustained deep water fording. So when you're in the deep water, we have a switch that puts about 7 psi to all of the drivetrain, axles, torque tubes, drive shafts, you name it. So I've actually sat in there with water in my lap waiting for Land Rovers to get winched out during the race. So you wouldn't believe how good it jumps. It's amazing. Race weight is 14.6.
Well, maybe we'll jump it next time, shall we?
Yeah, Of course, we got the Batmobile, my little side. So like I said, it's big iron and little iron. I like the little guys.
All kinds of stuff,
Yeah. Nice little camper box hiding back here. We've got, this is for the Razors and the Rokons when we go traveling around. More and more. What else we got?
Well, we got a few more Unimogs, I think.
A few more mods. We're still cleaning up the place, so we're still unpacking from our move years ago, believe it or not.
It's okay, you don't want to see my garage.
No, it could be bad. Yeah. So this is what one of the nicer equipped trucks comes when they show up to us. They'll look like this. This one doesn't look bad, but there's a lot of dents, a lot of dings, and a lot of repair and upgrading that we have to do. But we'll take this truck and we'll turn it into those machines in there. Again, believe it or not, these fit in a 40-foot high cube container. We're able to get them in there. Don't ask how, it's a magic trick, but it does work. So these two actually were in the same box. And then, when they're done, you've got something like, this is one of my personal favorites. I call this Darth Mog. I don't know if anybody sees Darth Vader in the front, but that's where it gets its name.
The low hood.
Yeah, the low hood, the mouth. I need to get that sound. But what makes this Mog unique, besides it's rare, it's a very rare machine, it's 11 inches narrower in the cab than the other ones. So this one fits in the tight trails and whatnot. It's fast, it's fuel efficient, it's very off-road capable as well. So it's one hell of a grocery getter.
Oh yeah, and you can kind of have like a little camping body on the back?
Yeah, a little camping body in the back. So it's got a pretty crude box in the back.
Yeah.
We'll do a nice higher end one soon, but it also has this, anytime you guys see something that has one of these covers, that's protection for the central tire inflation system. So that's 1/4 inch plus material, and that's for when you're in a bog and you're winching out, your wheels cut in an angle and you might be winching against that. And if you rip the hose off, your tire's done.
Yeah.
So you see that on a lot of vehicles here. This is kind of a sleeper in the fleet. This looks like a basic Mog, but it's not. It's hard for me not to modify things, so instead of 130 horse, it's 270. Not having tire inflation, I added central tire inflation, but we put all the factory things in so it kind of looks a little discreet. This one's bad. It's a mean sunbuck. So this one's getting air conditioning in it this year as well. We did an electric winch instead of hydraulic because it is 24 volt, it's a pretty light truck, and this 18,000 pound winch is just about enough to get it out. So, it's cool. And then, these are one of the older series guys here. Everyone likes these round cab machines. They are cool.
What year is that approximately?
1976. 76, so it's a neat rig. It is a crew cab. It's an extra long wheelbase, longer than most. This one's getting turbocharged. It's going to get a little expedition box and a flatbed on it as well. This is just one of my personal cool trucks, and it's fast. It's geared, it winds up at 75 miles an hour, so cruising really should be around 65, and that's good low RPM with the turbo to handle it. So
basically just all depending on the gearing, right? The engine is there, but usually people think that these machines are like tractors, they're very slow. That's what people think usually, right?
Yep, so they are tractors, and they can go slow.
Yes.
But with a little bit of love and a lot of experience, you can make them go faster and be more comfortable on the road. Because, out there, we have an agricultural facility here. We do cattle, we do basic grazing stuff. So we use them for agricultural work. But they're just so good off-road that it's kind of a shame not to. Like even that green one, that's the agricultural Mercedes green. That's going to get a front-end loader on it, the big mower attachment on the rear. So that's a full-on, it'll get the same tires that are on his brother right there. Soon. Those high-speed actions.
This is like a forklift slash truck.
Yep.
I don't know, working machine.
Yeah, so the forklift is usually up a little bit, and the forks can move side to side, so when you're off camber, you can grab your munitions for the military, and then it has a knuckle boom crane at the back, here's the back end of one. This crane comes out and folds out like a spider. It's pretty incredible. So, and the nice thing is they will do about 53 to 55 miles an hour down the road. This is a low-geared machine. So these are the same basic truck, just tan and green. And then we have with the loader and the backhoe.
When I come back next time, can we see this one in motion on one of these?
Yeah, well, I usually use this yellow one to move around material around the yard because our place is so big, I got to go off this rough ground, and our forklifts launching the load everywhere. But this one's smooth as can be.
And it's camouflaged.
Out here, it actually is kind of camo.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah.
And then you got, this is another agricultural one with a little baby bed. It dumps 3 directions. That's cool.
Okay.
I'm kind of getting into this whole farm mog thing again, but we'll see. This is actually one of the coolest. This is a medium long wheelbase. It's slightly narrower in the axles. It is a factory 4-wheel steering Unimog. So from the factory, all-wheel steering, which is a really rare option. This one is built for playing here in Colorado. This is, you can tell the bed is narrower. It's brought in about probably, I'd say 8 inches per side compared to the normal one. And then it's also pretty stout, so when we crunch up against trees, the track is brought in a little narrower. And then the deal is, to be honest with you, I've got people that want to go wheeling with me, but a lot of the people don't have a vehicle that's going to be able to go do the stuff. So with this crew cab, I could take people. It'll have a covered wagon on it. We could take the motorcycles and whatnot and play. But it's neat. These are actually an amazing high-speed on-road tire. The only reason you don't run them cross-country all the time is it eats up horsepower and they wear down kind of fast, but not too bad. But it has a big winch on the rear. We'll do a secondary winch on the nose. And this one, unfortunately, a few months ago, I dropped into it. It was at least a 12-foot drop-off and broke my hand. And we wiped out this corner. The cage, I almost went through the windshield, but I mean, it was about 10 grand worth of damage and a lot more than that on my hand. But look at it now, it's perfect. So these things are tough. They're just really tough. This is our personal brush fire truck. So I literally take care of all the fires in this area because our fire department's 22 minutes away. So usually they'll show up when I'm mopping up a fire at the neighbor, so we let a trash fire out of control. We have some older people that I just don't remember how bad the wind can
Well, and a lot of these trucks were fire trucks to begin with,
That's right. That's right. Every red truck in here was a fire truck. Here's an old school fire truck, just like the gray one, which was a fire truck. This is the same thing we looked at before. This is just a normal long wheelbase. So this is the wheelbase of a Jeep Cherokee. And the cabin is still nice and low on this, so you can see the height's not that bad.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a favorite, but a little harder to work on and really expensive to get one that's not rusty. Really high, but they're very cool.
Okay.
The square cab ones are definitely the kind of the way. And then I've got the little G-Wagon collection here. I like the old series G-Classes. We'll build them up. Every one of these is a turbo diesel. Turbo intercooled 5-speed, turbo intercooled 5-speed, turbo 4-speed automatic. Old school. This is the grandpa wagon. This is the soccer mom. And that's the real deal G-Wagon.
This is something special. I see you have a Dakar symbol on it.
Right. We got one of the Tourigs hanging out on the side. That should scare you to death.
Yes.
But what's special with this guy is this one has portal axles on it. So the center of this wheel is actually right about here underneath the axle, and then the gear reduction brings it up. So what's beautiful with this is we have the gear reduction in the axle assembly out here, and the portal not there. So this thing doesn't know it's not running a 31-inch tire. These are 37s. So the axle shaft sees no more strain than a factory tire. So all the gear reduction is done out here, and then along with that, we're able to, because of that offset, we're able to run our tire inflation system again through there. This one doesn't have the covers over it like most do, but it's recessed in there enough. And now that I say I'm not worried about it, I'll probably hit on something and be stranded. But I do carry extras. And then, of course, we got the Snorkel. This will handle deep water fording. You're not going to like it because the interior is not as friendly, but it will handle it up to here. This is all completely waterproof through there. It's mostly for dust, but it will handle it. It's cool. It's all mechanical, no
So
computers.
this is, Mercedes currently has the square machines, right?
Yep.
So similar kind of idea, but different.
Exactly. So the square is the luxury version of this with 550 horse, 11 miles a gallon versus this is only getting about 17, but still that's a lot.
This is the diesel.
It's a diesel, 5-speed diesel.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's it's old school. You take a G Square out, they work well. Don't get me wrong, but they're just kind of a little too blingy. A little too blingy for that.
Got a little backhoe.
Yep, we got another backhoe on one of the little baby mogs through here. The other Army mogs we have that same hoe. They're just tucked in tighter, so you don't notice them as much. This is 1-inch plate, you guys. And this is all. That's 1.5 inch almost castings. This is steel. It's the real deal, or iron, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think it's cast iron. I think it might be nodular iron or steel, but regardless, it's tough and it ain't light. I know the attachment weighs almost 4,000 pounds with the adapter, and then you put a front loader on to boot. So, and then normal car, normal, and then you go to this is a really cool one. This is an extra long wheelbase, L38. The rings out here for the beadlocks will be black when we're done. We're building an expedition body for this as well that's exchangeable. Bringing up the horsepower, big winch in the front. They may do a big winch in the rear, we'll see. They'd probably just like to get their truck back. It's been long enough for us to get this done. But what's unique, you guys, it's an extended cab. So it's not a full crew cab.
I see.
It's an extended cab.
But it still has a door handle.
And it still has the door handle. Yeah, it's really cool. So you can tell with me, I'm about 5'10", and you can see the box is still huge. So we can still put a good sized camper box, and then they have enough room to be comfortable with their dog, with whatever. And there'll be storage boxes underneath here as well. And they'll just live in this thing traveling primarily the States, but it's a cool rig. It'll look really sexy when we're finished with it as well. And then most of these Unimogs will have one of these green guys hiding on the back. Very often you'll see a Rokon hanging on the back. Every bike here, including the electric one, is 2-wheel drive.
Yep.
So we run these things at about, well, you can see. I run them either at 0 or maybe about a half pound, sometimes 1 PSI. We can put fuel or water in the wheels. They're light, they're bulletproof, they're kind of dum-dum proof. I've been up in the high country where I've been blocked by snow to get down, where I'll dig in, put some rope on this, and I'll literally lower the thing down the rock surface, until it stops, hike around because I can't walk down when I lowered it, get on the bike and ride over the boulders on more than a 1-to-1 slope and get out. They're rude, they're crude, but man, they are effective.
Very cool.
So,
and then one more thing. Well, not one more thing, but just something.
Yeah, one more next to the garage. So here's one of the big kids. This is another Unimog. This is a very cool, very rare 6x6 Unimog with a huge expedition body on it. This guy has got some. This thing traveled the world for 7 years. 7 years, and it's still immaculate. It's an amazing machine. We're doing a bunch of upgrades to it. Right now, we had to bring up the horsepower because this thing empties 31,000 full. It's 33. It carries, I think it's 210 gallons of diesel, 200 and something gallons of fuel, fully loaded with all dishes, with everything you could possibly need is already. In fact, in the spare parts in here, we have all our bins lined up with a manifest, a ship's manifest. We have a spare turbo, starter, alternator, glass repair kit, a water fitting for every water fitting in the planet, inner tube, patch kit, recovery gear is all in board. It's all on board, and you can't even tell it's on there. It's so neatly packed away. But it's
huge. Yeah,
it is huge. We have FLIR infrared lighting on it, so you can go in the dark. You have protection throughout. It actually has a slide out, which is very rare for a European rig. It's different than our slide out. It's on full on lineator actuators that's sealed tight. It's just it's a piece of engineering. Let's just say that.
All right, Jay. Well, that was a short half an hour tour,
and that's only part of it. It's pretty out of hand, man. It gets rowdy out here.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for having me here. So, can we do some more videos here later?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We'll go through the tank trap and the true off-road core stuff. Bring in some other rigs, see how they fare against the big trucks, just so you can kind of see the pros and cons, because there's pros and cons to everything.
Yeah.
And out here, we'll definitely show that.
All right. Thanks a lot, man.
Cool. Good to see you now.